All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming, and welcome to Equitiv's 2 p.m. panel titled The Shopper Journey Rewritten: How Creativity is Unlocking Commerce Everywhere. I am your host, Kamiko McCoy, a senior marketing reporter at Digiday. Pleasure to be here with you guys. We are here to talk about the shopper journey. It is no longer linear. I'm sure you've all heard the word omnichannel. Take a shot for every time you've heard it. Um, the question is, how do you stand out in that space, and what role does creativity play? So we've got some amazing panelists here alongside of me to talk about about our conversation today, and I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, starting with Joe.
Thanks. Hi, my name is Joe Younes from Sophia Pulse. Um,
Hi, my name is Eli from Equativ Retail Media.
Hello everyone, I'm Teresa Fusaro. I'm the Global Director for GenAI Creativity at Rekit.
Hey, I'm Paul from Uber Ads.
Hi everyone, Gregory Mial. I'm Sales and Marketing Director for Retailing, which is the retail media business unit of Fnac Darty, a retailer.
Perfect. Well, the way that we're going to set this up is I'm going to have some questions for everyone, some questions for some of you, and at the end of it, we'll open it up to a Q&A for you guys to have questions for our panelists. The first question that I want to go ahead and kick this off with is from each of your POVs. Tell me a little bit about the single biggest shift that you've observed in consumer behavior, and how is that impacting retail media strategies today? Go ahead.
yeah, that's a good question. So, what I'm observing a lot is that users first, there's a massive acceleration in adopting multiple screens, like being able to consume content on CTV and all the other devices. So brands sort of start to get into like the ability for brands to be able to be there while the users are consuming these contents across devices. And what's super interesting is that if you look in the past, people were always getting advice from someone specific in their family or their friends or their peer. And the big shift now is that they can get instant advice across, so many different sources, whether testimonials, reviews. So they have all these sort of massive ocean of tapping into advice and recommendation, which is very different than the classic way and the old way.
Yeah, we're always talking about multi-channel experience for the shoppers. Today, people are buying on site and on e-commerce. But if you compare the experience between on-site and off-site, on-site, as Gregory will say, there is a lot of display screens, panels, etc., that bring some creativity on the point of sales. And if you look at e-commerce, if you forget about advertising, e-commerce websites are just a boring catalog. Actually, I think that what we are here to do, especially here at Cannes, is to put back the creativity into the customer journey on e-commerce, because it's what makes it fun. And when you are browsing for a vacuum cleaner or a computer, having some cool ads that helps you to make your choice for purchase, that's where we have a role to play.
In my view, the biggest shift in consumer behavior, and maybe I will be a little bit off topic, but is the intersection of social media with retail media. And I'm referring to the phenomenon of social commerce or live stream events, which is becoming really, really big. And for us in some markets like China is what is really driving the growth. So if I think social is getting closer to retail media is becoming a little bit more social, and that's the new paradigm I see.
Okay, from Uber point of view, I guess, quick commerce has changed consumer behavior anyway. Because it's now much more comprehensive than perhaps it was before. You used to be able to get takeaway food, but you'd have to ring an individual line and then you had to see what happens. And we know now that something like 50-60% of our customers go onto Uber Eats without knowing what they want to eat or order. And everyone nods when I say that, because it's a sort of confirmed thing. So that behavior is very different perhaps to what we're used to, and therefore I think creative opportunities become important. We've also just done some work around the Uber generation in terms of how people use Uber and how it relates to their daily lives. And I think that's also part of this, is that apps and other things have changed behavior because they're now considered on your sort of list of things to have, and that's important.
Yeah, you talk about social, about digital out of home. You talk about CTV. I think that the consuming the customer journey is increasingly fragmented. The buying decision process is longer and more complex. Um, so retail media, definitely a successful retail media strategy can't be only online and only focused on conversion. It has to be omni-channel. It has to link up the different channels. For example, at Fnac Darty, still 75% of the sales are transformed, realized in the physical stores. So I think that we have to take all that elements into account. People go shopping, go online to find information, to get information about the products, to compare, to see the technical features. People still go to the physical stores to get advice or handle the products, and at the same time they will go on their mobile to see the reviews. So definitely, I think it's more and more fragmented and omni-channel.
Absolutely. We talked a little bit about what that means for customers, but I want to stay with you, Gregory, and have you talk to me a little bit about what this means from the client perspective, brands, right? What are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing when collaborating with brands to leverage a retail media service, especially when everyone's obsessed with data and ROI?
Well, the biggest challenge, as I said, is to link up the different channels. And for that, the answer is the part of the answer is in your question. You talked about data and creative. I think that data, tech, and creativity are the keywords to manage a successful strategy. First, about data and tech, because you have to make it functional. You have to simplify the customer journey, and you have to delight the customer journey. Simplify thanks to tech and data. Delight thanks to creativity. First, about tech and data, it allows to it scales with precision. It allows to target the right people at the right place at the right moment, on site and off site. One of our challenge as a retailer is to decline the same experience off site that we are doing with Camino and Equativ on site, targeting the people and to get connected the stocks in real time, the product stocks, the price, to have that dynamic prices, and without creativity, we do nothing. Actually, creativity is the key driver to engage the consumer, and in retail media, you have media, so we have to be really inventive and creative about that. For example, 2 years ago, we launched with Equativ shoppable video formats, and it's a huge success. It allows to raise awareness, to increase consideration, to boost the sales as well. So it's like a full funnel lever, and with the video you can talk to your consumer thanks to digital out of home in the stores. You can talk to the consumers online thanks to the retail media shoppable videos, for example. You can talk to them on social media. For example, we have one campaign. Maybe we could show one example of one campaign that we have recently with Lenovo, and you will see that it's like we designed the creative. It was based and designed for social. It's like a fake OOH, fake out of home creative, and we declined it on the web, on our website, and in our stores. I don't know if you can. see it very well. It was like a creative. It was like a 3D creative in our flagship, one of the main, the most important store of Fnac Darty at Terne in Paris. And well, we declined it on a retail media on our website, and the same in digital out of home, and the results are really impressive, as we observe that when customers are both exposed online and offline, they memorize better. They have a better consideration of the product, and it increases the purchase intent, and you boost dramatically the sales too.
I want to keep down that train of thought because I know that this is a conversation about creativity, but we can't act as though nobody's asking about data and ROI, as I mentioned before, right? That is a big part of this. So this is a question specifically for Joe and Teresa, and I want you guys to tell me a little bit about some of the use cases that you've seen where there's a through line between creative innovation and how that's have directly impacted the commerce performance.
It's unbelievable how many use cases we're seeing now. But one that I can think of, especially with the Equativ team, is what we did is we took a lot of signals that we have access to, whether it's geo-based, cultural-based, or even like events-based, and we were able to create over 1,200 different videos and display ads that can basically be launched and targeted depending on the user location, depending on the user data. That was like one of my favorite use cases, because what you're basically doing is that you're making through our platform and Equativ the ability to receive signals and be able to be so relevant to the user without having to create manually every single video. So you create a pipeline where you stitch different elements of the video all together, and you can launch it depending on the signal you're getting from on the demand side, and depending on the user location, you actually put the right video in place, or the right OLV, or the right display ad at the right place at the right time. So it kind of like, it was super theoretical a few years ago, and now it's extremely possible because you have the AI part that is accelerating how you can generate those assets, and the signals on the whole ecosystem is open now.
Absolutely. Teresa, if you want to tell us kind of what some of the examples you've seen.
Yes.
Use cases.
Thank you. I'd like to share one example from my new role. I'm a media person, but starting this year I moved into a role which is a lot about content and creative full funnel. And one of the example I like the most is related to what I was mentioning before on live stream commerce. It is a very one of the main business driver for us in markets like China. And one cool use case is around they created virtual host for live stream shopping event using GenAI. If you think about it works, if you ever attended any live stream shopping event, you have usually one person explaining how the product works, the different capabilities, the different version of the products. But obviously, if you have a real person, the show can go on for a few hours. Also, the platforms have some time limitation, and then it ends. But if you use what we call digital twins, which are digital twins of real people used by GenAI that speaks different languages and can run the show for 24 hours, the power of amplification is huge. So we had some really good experiences with our brands in China for Vanish and Dettol. One of the Dettol show was such a thing in China that was recorded by of the national TV network. And it is really a way to engage with a new generation, with a population in China which is very much into social, so you don't have to invest too much in even in media placement, because the content gets viral very, very soon. People share a lot among them, and you have a 24-hour live stream event going on, so it's really a big thing for us. We have people gathering in a room to track the event, to track the sales, and I think it really showcases the power of how GenAI can also enhance retail media, not only the upstream media.
Both of you have touched on generative AI, and I think obviously even just looking around the Quaset and the Palais, that's a very big topic this year. But what are some of the other emerging technologies that both of you are watching closely as we kind of enter this next wave of retail media?
I can take it. So I would still stay in Gen AI, but not for a different use case, not necessarily for social. I think that when it comes to retail media, there is a need of creating a lot of content very fast at scale, and the new Gen AI creative platform allow brands to do it even in-house, even with less dependencies on agencies. We are testing, for instance, Gen AI creative tools for our e-commerce manager to create different versions for creativity for different local retailers, because we know all different local retailers in different markets have different specifications, different for formats, for how the brands has to be portrayed. And with this platform, we can create this thousands of versions just in few clicks. So this is really a way to scale retail media faster. And also on the optimization capability, I think Gen AI is bringing what we knew as DCO to the next level with an unlimited capability to optimize and for personalized targeting without also with less dependencies from the vendor, democratizing the role of content manager, e-commerce manager when it comes to amplify the content for retail media and to optimize for better targeting.
Absolutely. Ellie, Joe, I see you guys both shaking your heads here. So talk to me. You obviously agree. So what are some of the emerging technologies that you guys are paying attention
of course
to?
one can. So AI is the big elephant in the room because every creative director is wondering what's my future with all this AI bots ahead. But fully agree with what you said. I don't see AI replacing all the creative process from A to Z today. But for all matter to creative size adaptation, for example, for productivity, efficiency, it will just change the game. But if you look after what will be the impact of AI on retail media specifically, it will have an impact on every single point of activation, from retail media planning, of course, but also for creative enhancement, personalization, DCO, but also for keywords targeting. Honestly, when you see what you can generate from a ChatGPT for keywords model, they are ultra powerful. They have been built for that. Keyword agency are blessed with ChatGPT. So media planning, creativity optimization, and of course, when you have that many data that you can have on retail media insight, whether it's e-commerce, activation data, or in-store data, you have pretty large data lakes, and AI will help a lot marketers to dig into it and identify the true signals that leads to real performance, and not just the STR, the ROS, that can be in the shadow of other signals that may be more relevant about why the performance has been a success or not.
Absolutely. Joe, did you want to jump in with yours? You were also nodding your head.
I mean, Ellie and Teresa said awesome points. I would just maybe add that in a way, video is becoming the new operating system because that's what people love to engage with the most. So retailers, again, like as Ellie said, they have massive opportunity to integrate, especially with retailers that have thousands of products. AI can really help them draft and create super quickly videos that relate to each of these products and create some sort of branches where people can interact and feel and understand things about the product super quickly. So it's just fascinating time, yeah.
Absolutely. Paul, I'm going to direct a question to you about Uber ads. One of the things that I think is interesting is that you guys were just awarded I'm going to butcher the way I say this, but Grand Prix du Retail Media for the Coca-Cola Hug Cans campaign. So talk to us a little bit about the campaign and kind of what made it stand out creatively.
Well, actually, we do a lot of stuff. I'm not going to just talk about that campaign because we do a lot on creativity. I think the first thing we always start with is the consumer is the most important thing. And I think when you're a retailer, that's really vital because it's very tempting to get interruptive ad formats and do all sorts of things and say, hey, this is creative. It's just irritating to the consumer. So all the work we've done with Coke, and we've got another campaign running at the moment, which is called Share a Coke, where you can basically send a Coke bottle to a friend, and then they'll get a €3 gift card, which they can then use. So I think the key thing for us in creativity is, and with that, the one we won awards for, and the other one, there was another one we won an award for with Pizza Hut as well. A lot of it is just ensuring that the consumer benefits in the right way, but is not interrupted in the wrong way.
Right.
And I think that's what's really important to remember, because every time we do that, it works really well. Every time, if you do the interruptive stuff, people just don't want. And particularly in an environment like quick commerce, or even in our rides environment, those are the people that are there because they want a quick turnaround. So you have to recognize that as well. So I think, we've done more, and we've just set up a creative studio now within Uber Ads to help on all of these activations. So dedicated creative unit who can go, let's come up with an idea that we can get through and across the platform and go from there. And I think that's the next stage for us in terms of how we develop it all.
Yeah, I want to double down on that space and have you talk a little bit about what lessons did you guys learn from that work that these folks in the audience can kind of take as takeaways.
Well, I think you have to behave like a media owner. I mean, that's the starting point. I mean, retail media is media, right? We call it retail media. It's still media. And media companies have learned long lessons in terms of how to work and partner with brands. So we're taking the same view. But the thing I think with us is, because we have this app, we have to be very careful how we do it. But the ideas are coming fast and furious. And I go back to the data point, and this is an interesting one on data. One of the biggest challenges we have with CPGs generally is that the fact that they probably have 3 buying points. So they'll have an e-commerce team, they'll have a shopper marketing team, and they'll have a brand team. And none of those teams necessarily talk to each other. And some of those teams use data and some of the teams do not. So when you want to talk about data, it's fine, but you're probably only talking to the e-commerce team. But probably not the creative types, because their ultimate ambition is ROI. They're not really worried about a brand or a competition element. So I think one of our learnings here is, and I think this is changing actually, I've seen a lot of CPGs changing, is that we need to get clients, I think, to connect the dots a bit better so that we can do both data-driven and creative-driven executions.
And whoever solves that will be...
Exactly.
We've got about 5 minutes left, and I do want to make sure that we leave enough time for you guys to ask questions out in the audience. So if we've got a mic that we can pass around, that'd be great. But please, if anybody has questions, please let us know that you'd like to ask the panelists. Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, go for it.
My question: why do you think that shoppable video and streaming? Why do you think that shoppable video hasn't taken off in other parts of the world like it has in China?
Thanks for the question. I love the topic, as you might have understood. I think China is a slightly different market than other markets in the western side of the world. It's a big consuming population. It's a lot in social, so things get viral very quickly. But also, if you think about the legislation framework when it comes to privacy or utilization of AI, it's much easier to navigate than in Europe, for example. We are having a lot of discussion internally about the utilization of Gen AI in Europe for synthetic people or even digital queens. China did not even ask the question. They just went and did it. So it's easier doing things, and the team there has been very much proactive in building the Gen AI production capability in-house. So also agency ecosystem is different. We do much more in-house. We have a 15 live stream room, including AI rooms, to record the shows in-house. So you go faster because you don't have to go to agencies, negotiate a scope of work on. So for something, for a topic which is also new, relatively new for agencies. So these are the two things for me: the legislation ecosystem, legal environment, and also the ways of working when it comes to doing things more independently versus than with agencies.
Did anybody else want to piggyback off of? Yeah.
Okay, so hey guys, Tim, it's Tim from LiveRamp. Obviously we heard a little bit there all about the experience, and that leads into perhaps the fact that you have such a constrained kind of inventory set, how much you can really load the application with before you get into ruining the experience. So everyone then talks about offsite necessarily. I think you led into offsite as well. So what things are you doing at the moment in order to kind of branch out into offsite, and how's that going? Because it's obviously not as easy.
It's not as easy. I mean, we've still got a long way to go within our own internal system. I mean, opportunity, because obviously Uber Ads has only been 2.5 years old, really, in terms of what we're doing with CPGs and non-endemics. But we will always look at the next options. I mean, obviously we have some pretty interesting data sets, both on the ride side and on the eat side, and we have a single user ID, which makes it a lot easier to run across that. But I think we're just evolving at this stage. I think we sort of see ourselves as a growing up business, and we're growing very fast, and we will work out what we do in offsite and what we do in other areas. But more to come on that, I think, is probably where we go.
And if I may, we often say that retail media is obviously retail plus media, but retail media is also a partnership between retailers and brands. And the key of success in retail media, whatever the channel for activation, is to be sure that both of them, they are mutually dependent. Retailers need brands and their content to enhance the consumer the journey, and brands, they need retailers, of course, for performance marketing. But don't forget that, as you said today, shoppers are looking for information about the product directly on the e-commerce website. So video is one of the tools to help the retailers to take the consumer to take their decisions. So retail media is a partnership between brands and retailer, and what we try to do is to be the link, the bound, the technical bound, just to help these guys to talk together and work better and build better plans to enhance all of it.
Anybody else have any questions? Perfect. Okay, I'm going to end it with one more for the panelists. We're down to our last minute, so I'll have you guys answer briefly. If you had one piece of advice for brands and retailers looking to reimagine their retail media strategies through creative innovation and connected media, what would it be?
I'll start. I would say in a few words, literally like to sink in more into people's culture. Like there's so many great signals on micro and macro cultures that people are, like in real life, we can see everywhere. So if retailers bring it down to a horizontal sort of standpoint with people, I think there's a lot of magic that can happen there. Yeah, I'd say that.
My piece of advice, in continuation of what I said, is just not to consider retail media as a performance channel. Brands and agency can also use that for upper funnel marketing objectives. And I think whether it's on-site or off-site, there is a lot to do on that, and not only focus on performance.
And in line to what you're saying, and to what we heard from Uber as well, my advice would be to look at retail media budget management more holistically. Today we have different pockets of budget found in retail media, even from brand equity to e-commerce and trade spend also going in retail media, and they are managed by different teams that do not speak with each other. Even sometimes they compete one against each other. So my advice would be holistic budget management for retail media full funnel for brands to maximize the way they spend overall in retail media.
Mine would be focus on the consumer and delight them when you can.
And my piece of advice would be, let's be disruptive. As Ellie said, I think everybody here shop online, but there's no fun in it. So we need fun. We need to create emotional approach. When you get emotions with a brand, you're more likely to spend more and to come back. So let's go to retailtainment and let's be disruptive. Let's there.
Absolutely. I can't thank you guys enough for being here with us today, for listening to our panel and asking fantastic questions, and even more shout out to our panelists for speaking and you guys giving some great advice. So appreciate you guys joining us for our 2 p.m. panel, and we'll see you around Cannes.